companies that want to do business with Saudi Aramco, Sadara, Satorp, SABIC, and other companies in Saudi Arabia will have to agree to a Supplier Code of Conduct. The Supplier Code of Conduct establishes the policies, principles, and expectations of vendors, manufacturers, contractors, and other third parties, as well as their employees and agents, and their subsidiaries and affiliates. They are also critical components of the regulatory compliance programs companies use as a legal defense against violations of the law. The Supplier Code of Conduct is used to demonstrate compliance throughout the supply chain, and suppliers who violate it risk suspension and possibly termination of the business relationship. Many supplier codes of conduct require compliance with laws and regulations that prohibit bribery and corruption, regulate the export of controlled items and dealings with sanctioned parties, and the processing of personal data. In addition to being a violation of the Supplier Code of Conduct, violations of bribery and corruption laws can lead to local criminal prosecution by the Saudi Oversight and Anti-Corruption Authority and international prosecution under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act and the UK Bribery Act, laws that also regulate the giving of gifts, meals, and entertainment. Supplier codes of conduct can require compliance with export control and sanction laws that apply to sensitive goods, services, and technology, business dealings with restricted countries, entities, and individuals, and travel to restricted countries and the exchange of sensitive information. They may also require compliance with personal data protection laws, like the Saudi Personal Data Protection Law that regulates the collection and use of personal data in Saudi Arabia. Many supplier codes of conduct also require compliance with conflicts of interest and ethical trade practices. Conflicts of interest include all situations where an individual interest might conflict with the company's interest. To prevent conflicts of interest, supplier codes of conduct often prohibit suppliers from hiring or otherwise using existing and former employees to get confidential, proprietary, or other restricted information. Some even require suppliers to disclose former employees who work for them. Unfair trade practices include collusive bidding, price discrimination, anti-competition, antitrust, and other unfair practices. In addition to complying with the law and ethical business practices, suppliers, their employees, and their representatives must report violations of the Supplier Code of Conduct, the law, and unethical conduct. They may also be required to cooperate with investigations and implement corrective action plans to remediate violations that occur. To ensure compliance, suppliers are required to monitor their compliance with the Supplier Code of Conduct and train their employees. Monitoring requirements can range from self-monitoring to third-party audits to implementing formal policies, procedures, and training. Suppliers are also required to maintain records of their compliance policies, procedures, and training. At a minimum, effective training should address how to comply with the law, ethical business practices, and the need to report and cooperate with investigations. Suppliers that have their own codes of conduct, policies and procedures that address applicable laws and ethical trade practices, and training will be able to maintain business relationships and may even increase their access to future business opportunities. EMME, supporting emerging markets and the Middle East.